Okay, folks, welcome to this week's Fife Property Update. This is the week beginning the 14th of November to the week ending yesterday, at the 20th of November as well. So this is a look right across the Fife property market. Why do we do this every single week? I'm coming live from London today. I'm at training all week for public speaking. So why do we do this every single week? Why do I look at these figures? The primary reason here, and the reason why, is because it gives you us a strong indication about where the Fife property market is in terms of the boom and bust cycle. A lot of people actually predict that there's going to be a downturn in the market, and these numbers will give us a good indication about whether it will continue to go up. It'll also, one of the reasons behind this as well is whether the actual price points that we're paying just now, which is roughly about 10 to 15 to 20% over the home report value, is more realistic just now, or could you get away with paying less? That's really what it's down to. Or should you be paying more to secure that property? So let's take a look at, dive in right away and look at these numbers. So this is the numbers right across Fife, with every single estate agent themselves. So we have in the Cooper area, we've got 7 properties actually instructed. 16 properties went under offer or were sold in the same week. Now, what does that mean to people in the Cooper area? It means basically there's a lot more properties selling than there is actually being listed. Now, that is actually good news for sellers, because you've got a good opportunity now to take advantage of a seller's market where there's more buyers chasing your property. And we'll talk about the properties actually recently sold and also coming to market as well in this week, and also the ones that were sold in the week just past. East Neuk, 2 listed, and actually 6 under offer and sold. Again, it's the same situation as Cooper. If you've got a property in the East Neuk area, it is a real good time to sell. Everybody thinks it actually slows down now. Now, why is it a good time to sell? Well, everybody thinks it actually slows down. We're all pre-programmed. The reason for that is because we work on an old traditional dated model, which is now obsolete because the internet came along and replaced that, and you can literally have information at the touch of your fingers in your hand straight away on your mobile phone. So you can get that information straight away. You can get pinged to your phone straight away. You no longer need to wait to have to go and visit an estate agent. You no longer have to wait to visit, an office or look in a window or register either. You can just beam straight to your phone from website portals, and also from pre-registration, and also from social media. So that's why this cycle will continue, and it's not a case of having to wait till next year. I'll talk about the most the false prophecy, basically, that everybody believes, which isn't actually true, in a minute. And I'll cover that at the end of this. So St Andrews area, 7 listed in the week, 9 actually went under offer and sold. Again, demand outstripping supply. Leadmouth, 10 versus 14. Dunfermline, 32 versus 34. Glenrothes, 12 versus 14. Kirkcaldy, 30 versus 29. And literally, if you total that all up, 100 properties came to market in the last week. That's actually quite low, because on average there's usually about 120 to 130. So less properties coming to market, more properties getting sold, means the boom's continuing, and that will continue unless there's more properties come onto the market. Let's talk about the properties actually on the market and actually went under offer and sold. So this is one sold. We sold in the week. This was Sunny Knowe and Promenade. This sold in 3 weeks. It was a 3-bed detached cottage on the Leadmouth Prom, overlooking to the beach. New owners delighted with a new family home at the seaside. It's a very, very big plus point for these types of properties. So they're in high demand, these kinds of properties. So if you have a property similar to ones like this, and it's got something unique about it, they're really high demand just now, as well as other properties. So Gifford Court, no surprise there. We had a huge amount of activity when that went on. That was sold in 1 week at a closing date for a record price. I'll say it again, for a record price. Every single time we are putting stuff on in the East Neuk area, we tend to start getting record prices. This was a 3-bedroom detached house. The new owners are static with their new family home and their village life, and they're really looking forward to it. The final one here is in St Andrews. Now, this was an HMO. This sold in 2 weeks in North Street in St Andrews. This was offers over 520,000, significantly over that value it went for, and it sold in 2 weeks. 3 other people missed out on this. Now, I'll just jump back to Gifford Court as well. 7 other people missed out on this one. So it tells you if you've got a property like this in the Crail area, or even the East Neuk area, 3-bedroom, semi-detached, similar to this one, then there's a huge demand. We have people waiting for it, ready to pay a price well over the home report value. Okay, and the similar situation with an HMO in North Street and St Andrews as well. So let's come back and talk about properties coming to market this week. So properties we've got coming soon this week. Watch out for Skeith Road. That was a 2-bedroom upper apartment in Skeith Road in Cellar Dyke. Finished at a real high standard. Now, if you've not seen that pre-portal launch on social media yet, go onto our East Neuk, Fife Properties East Neuk Facebook page, and you'll see that pre-portal launch. Remember what I say about pre-portal launches. Why do we do these? Well, for some people, they want priority access. Just like anything, they're quite happy to pay a bit extra for priority access. They're also in a position to proceed. And if you're in a position to proceed and you can make that offer the seller can't refuse, you can have the property before anyone else, before it goes onto the Rightmove websites and all the property websites as well. And that's why we do a pre-portal launch. We also give exclusive priority to our VIP priority access buyers who are already registered with us. So if you want to know more about this, you can contact a local office and ask about the pre-registration priority buyers system. It gives you access again before they go to websites and before they go to Rightmove and Zoopla. I'll be honest, why do we say this and why do I tell you this every single time? And I'm about to tell you this, so make sure you take heed of this. If you're waiting on Rightmove and Zoopla to see these properties, you've got every chance that you'll actually miss out. Priority access, social media pre-portal launches are ensuring people that are there beforehand, following our YouTube channels as well, are seeing these properties well before they go into Rightmove and Prime Location and Zoopla, and therefore they're able to get in there before you and anyone else actually just rely on these old predated websites, which are now it's an old system. It's now actually becoming a bit archaic in the whole process of property sales now. Watch out for Bruce's Wynd in Pitt and Weem. This is an amazing 3-bedroom townhouse. Now, I've done a pre-portal on that this week. Again, this has got stunning views over the rooftops towards the Firth of Forth. You can actually see over to the Bass Rock, and you can also just see on the clear days, you can see Leith and Berwick, and you can look over. It's got, and you can actually see from the top windows, you can actually see right across the coastline on the Fife Coastal Path towards Ladies Tower from Pitt and Weem. And you can see Ladies Tower just in the distance, actually on the point at Ely itself in Earlsfirm. So again, that's a beautiful property, and that is sitting at a current pre-portal launch just now. So check that one out on our Facebook page for East Neuk. Lawview in Leven. This is a 4-bedroom detached house. It will be coming on in the coming week. It's one of the new developments, the new properties with Campaign Homes. It was recently built at the Lawview, just out on the Cooper Road as you go up to the top of Leven at Scooney, and then on to along to London Link. So that's the Lawview development in Leven, a 4-bedroom detached house built by Campaign Homes. Okay, so Newgrange Crescent in Pitt and Weem is coming soon as well. We've not done a pre-portal launch on that, so watch out for that this week. I am in my diary for doing that. I think it's on Wednesday. That's a 4-bedroom semi-detached house. You can get information about this now, or you can inquire about this now before it comes to market. Remember, we've signed it up, so it's more or less getting descriptions, photographs, and everything done. Pre-portal launch will get done as well. But now I've said it, you can Newgrange Crescent in Pitt and Weem, 4-bedroom semi-detached house. I've seen it. It's got a great extension off to the side, which you can actually drive under as well to your carport, and you can actually have off-street parking to the rear, and actually covered off-street parking rather than open air off-street parking. So that's coming soon this week. And Backwind in Falkland, I just did a pre-portal launch on that during the week there, and that's a 3-bedroom traditional style cottage extended to the rear, amazing garden in the back, and also dining kitchen, and you've got the lounge as well with the log burner. Fantastic property again. And if you don't know much about Falkland, look up Falkland Palace. It is literally just round the corner. It is the place where the kings and queens used to visit from way hundreds of years ago, and it's a beautiful place. Falkland is very idyllic. One of the locations it was shot for Outlander, so Amazon Prime's Outlander, the Scottish traditional show, the drama series Outlander, was actually filmed on location in Falkland as well. Okay, so what's concluded this week? Why am I going to tell you what we've concluded this week? Because it gives you a good indication about what we're achieving and when we're achieving and how much we're getting more and what the type of buyer in the marketplace is for that type of property. A couple of properties here, Wellesley Road, Methil, 2-bedroom upper apartment. It sold in a good period of time. It actually sold for an investor. They are actually adding it to their portfolio, so it will be a good return for them. And I reckon it's probably around about a 10 to 15% net return on investment on that property when I looked at the numbers. Farm Road in Anstruther has actually settled, 2-bedroom apartment. That was sold in social media before it actually, we're talking about pre-portal launch, it was actually sold before it got to a website. I actually had to put a video on the websites to say that if you're relying on this actually to get your property, you're too late, it's actually sold. So again, I'll give you the forewarning and make sure that you understand this, that you often might miss properties and they might even be sold by the time they get to the websites. But they also, the key here is they might actually end up being sold off market. So again, this is all about pre-registration on our priority access. And that was sold for 20,000 over the home report value, so 13% over the home report value sale. New owners delighted with their property and what they can achieve with it, so they're looking forward to that. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the shows we've done this week. Why do I always talk about the shows? How is that important to you? Well, classic example here is the show we did on Saturday, which was yesterday morning. This was all about design trends. So Perry, Richard and myself did a show on design trends and our guide to what's in store for your home decor for next year, so 2022. So if you're thinking about decorating and you're wanting what's chic and what's coming into the fashion and what's currently in fashion just now, that's a really good show to watch. The article's there on there, it will take you 4 minutes to read. The show's on our show, we give top tips on how we can do in certain areas. But the key here though is to give you the best chance to do the right way, just in case you're thinking about selling later on to mid to next year, then you won't be disappointed at the fact that you've not done it correctly. So that's the key here, is to make sure you do it correctly, so you're prepared for spring and summer next year if you're currently looking to decorate just before Christmas. We also talked about things like kitchens and that, and the style of kitchens you should be looking at, style of bathrooms and the reason why. So that's a really good show. The podcast is on there as well. If you've not got time, listen to the podcast. You can listen to it at your own leisure. You'll be driving in the car to work. Good time to use your car as a mobile university sometimes, I usually think. So, next one we spoke about, it's on here, is the Fife Property Market running out of steam? Now, we just discussed that really, and I think it's pretty obvious that the Fife Property Market isn't running out of steam, but we also talked about what's in store for Fife homeowners and Fife landlords for 2022. And we talked about things like interest rates. How's that going to affect the market next year? How's inflation going to affect the market next year as well? How are trends going to affect the market? So there's several factors that we've gone through in order to give you the answers you need in order to make sure you can make the right decisions for either selling or either buying, or if you just want to keep your property for next year. You might decide after you've gone through that maybe now's the time to stand tight and hold fast and actually keep a hold of the property and actually not sell. We've actually recently advised some people to do that certain situation. And again, finally, before we finish off here, remember, if you want to ask me any questions, please feel free to ask me them. You can get this on the catch up, or you can actually do it on here live just now. Finally, remember that you've got your instant valuation tool on here. Why do we talk about the instant valuation tool? Why do I go on about it every week? Well, for you, it has a huge benefit in terms of giving you a current valuation. A lot of people don't understand the true value of their property. The instant valuation tool takes account of actually all the recent sales that have actually happened and gone over the line. Plus, we put ours in as well to make sure it gives the current amount of the valuation of the property. Now, some of the recent things I've noticed, the disparity between what we know as the current values of properties when we put them on the market and what we've seen from other agents as the current value of what they think the properties are or what their surveyors think they are in terms of that. And we've often sold our properties for a higher price point when a smaller property or a different style of property, which is actually less than what they got on the other property, but because potentially what I would say is it's not been given the right valuation in the beginning, the true value hasn't been achieved in terms of the market price. So this is why we put this on every single week, the instant valuation tool, so you can take stock of that and understand where the valuation of your property is. It's also a good ready reckoner for your mortgages. So if you're looking to reassess your mortgage situation and your loan to value, when you initially took out your mortgage, was maybe 90% loan to value, or you got a 95% mortgage, maybe 2 or 3 years have passed. Some of your capital has gone down in value in terms of you paying it off on the loan. The value of the property has actually increased as a result as well. So therefore, the loan to value is now a lot less than what it was originally. Now, some people might not be aware that the lower the loan to value, so in other words, the loan you've got on your property, which stays the same, because it's always the same. The loan doesn't go up, it goes down as you pay it off, or it stays the same if it's interest only. The loan stays the same, but the value of the property goes up. Therefore, the loan to value comes down. And if you've got a lower loan to value, you will get, usually and typically all the time, a better interest rate and better deal with your existing mortgage provider or your bank or a mortgage broker. So you'll be able to find a better deal. And often we did it on a previous show that people on fixed rate, variable rate mortgages now, so in other words, they've not actually fixed their mortgage, compared to people who have actually gone and fixed their mortgage for the next 5 years, have actually missed out on an extra £2,000 a year saving. Yep, I said it. Can you imagine what £2,000 extra a year in your pocket would mean to you? What would that do? Would it be that extra holiday? Would it be maybe an extra special Christmas? Would it be maybe somebody you need to help out? Would you be able to afford to give to that special charity you always had? And that is all a case of money that you didn't have in the first place because you didn't review your mortgage. Do you know there's about 11,000 people in Fife just now with variable rate mortgages? In other words, they're paying the full rate for their mortgage, which is round about 4.5% to 5%, which is the base rate, the actual rates that they're charging on it. And yet they could be in a fixed rate mortgage, it is round about 2%. And on the average mortgage price, it saves them, as I said, about £2,000. Maybe you might be able to cut back on the hours for your job because you don't need to work that extra overtime because you've saved yourself £2,000 in your hand a year. That's just under £200 a month extra to you than yourself. What would £200 extra to you every month mean? What would £50 extra to you every month mean? It'd mean a lot. £50 a month, another £600 in your hand. That's why it's important to look at the instant valuation tool and give you a good idea of what the current valuation of your property is in comparison to what your outstanding mortgage is to understand the loan to value. Now, what I talk about, what is the loan to value? So let's talk about loan to value. What is loan to value? Well, loan to value is, for example, if your valuation of your house, in other words, the price of your house is £100,000, and your mortgage is £50,000, in other words, your loan, then your loan to value, in other words, 50,000 to 100,000, is 50%. That's half. So it's half. So it's 50% loan to value. If your mortgage was £60,000 and the valuation of your property was £100,000, then your loan to value would be 60%. And again, just to give you an example, if your mortgage was £90,000 and your valuation was £100,000 for your property, then your loan to value would be 90%. And then that allows you to go on the mortgage providers and see how much it costs for a mortgage at 90%, 75%, 60%, 50%, depending on what percentage you come up with. So it's the amount of loan divided by the total value of the property times 100, and that will give you your loan to value figure. Okay, so if you need any help with that, feel free to message the director here and I'll give you a bit more information about that. We'll get the team to contact you and tell you a lot more about that as well. So if you know anybody that's, maybe on, ask your friend, tag your friends in this, right? Okay, because make sure that you don't know that they might actually possibly have a variable rate. Remember, nobody realised that there's 1,000 people on a variable rate mortgage. So you don't know if somebody you know is on a variable rate mortgage, and yet you could potentially, just by telling them about this, actually let them see this. They can work this out for themselves, and they could potentially save the £2,000 a year on the average mortgage. So that's why it would be important to actually just tell them about this and just maybe share this with different people, even share it on your feed as well, and give it a big thumbs up. Comment as well, because it's important that you comment, because it gives it social reach. More people see it. If you don't like, you don't comment, you don't share, no one really sees this except you that's watching it now. And there's an opportunity then at some else out there is losing out on an extra £2,000 that they could have in their hand every single year. And that's it, guys. So watch out for my top 30 most expensive streets in St Andrews coming during the Monday-Tuesday period. We'll be going live with that as well. We're at number 2. Wait till you see the 4.1 million apartment at the Hamilton Grand. It's a 2-bedroom apartment basically, and it's like 4.1 million. So watch out for that live launch of the number 2 of the top 30 most expensive streets in St Andrews coming this week. And until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now.